going to be printing our last color. I've cut almost all of the block away, so I need to be a little bit careful as I ink this so that I don't drop the ink down into the lowered areas of the block that I don't intend to print. I've still got a little bit of ink here on my brayer and on my inking slab. I'm just going to roll them together to create a bluish black. Since I did most of my cutting in this direction, I'm going to line up the roller perpendicular to that so that there's less chance that the roller will drop down into our low sections of the block. And I just want to point out one more time that I am inking up my block outside of my printing jig so that I don't get ink on my jig. Here, now I could, since there's no real part of the image there, I might decide just not to roll this part up here, but I do want to show you that I did intentionally leave a few little raised areas near the borders so that the brayer doesn't dip down and ink the whole edge of the block there. So that was a conscious decision on my part to leave some of those cuts, little slivers, so that created a bridge for the roller to rest on as I inked up the block. Okay, that was really quick. I'm going to move my ink out of the way so I don't get it on my paper, double check my fingers for cleanliness, do a quick wipe, and then we'll bring in our printing jig. Okay, once again, I need to remember which way to align my block, so I'll double check the orientation on my printing paper to make sure they're angling the same direction there. Place the paper down onto the pins. Add my little reminder about where my block actually is positioned underneath that paper. This is a little optional thing you could do. Put the burnishing parchment paper on there, and we'll go over each section again pretty carefully. Peek at that and see if we've gotten all the critical areas. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to take that off of there. So you can take the whole pile off at once. Not to let it rub against the plate while it's block. I'll move this out of the way so I don't get ink on the back of my print. There's our finished print. This is a reduction print. Again, we started by cutting away the areas that we wanted white on the block, and then printed the lightest blue after we had printed all of the light blue on every sheet that we thought we'd ever want to print. Then we carved away areas where we wanted to keep that light blue on the block, and then mixed up a medium value ink, the middle blue, printed that. And then our final step was to cut away the areas where we wanted to keep that medium blue, and then all that was left on the block were the areas that would print black. Now the ink's pretty thick at this point. We've got 3 layers of ink under those black areas, so it will take longer to dry. You want to make sure you give it plenty of time to dry before you try to stack them. If you need to hang them on a little clothesline that you pin up, or lay them under your bed or someplace where they won't get disturbed, that is a good strategy. And then when you think they're dry, you can stack a piece of newsprint in between the prints very carefully. Try not to let them shift around. The ink takes several weeks to thoroughly dry, and the more layers you have, even the longer it takes. So do make sure you're printing with really thin layers of the Akua ink and also giving it plenty of time to dry.